Hello and welcome to Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you on your journey to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. This is your host, Beck Milonas, High Priestess, Channel, and Activator. Join me on this series as I share reflections, insights, and channel transmissions from my journey of walking the initiation path. Each episode is a unique transmission containing supportive frequencies to facilitate the deepest healing, activation, and reconnection with your soul. I invite you to open your mind and set the intention to receive this episode into your heart space. Let's go. Hello and welcome to another episode of Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. It truly feels like, excuse me, it has been a lifetime since I've been on here recording a new episode for you all, but I figured now is the best time for a bit of a life update to share some of the wild stuff that has been going on in my world. If you're on the video, you can see I'm really tanned, which means that I have been back in Bali. I've been back here for a month now, just really sinking in, tying up loose ends, clearing the things that I need to clear here and finishing things up so I can move on to the next chapter of my journey. And oh my gosh, there has been so much incredible stuff happening in my world. So I hadn't actually intended to record any episodes while I was here. And the plan was to re-record and begin again when I return to Australia, which will be happening in a little over a month. Because I'd set myself up and I was like, cool, I'm just gonna take a break. But honestly, the stuff that has been unfolding, I was like, it's too good for me to not share. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of juice in there for a lot of you. There's going to be a lot of stuff that you can probably relate to, you can gain something from. I'm gonna have a little sip of my tea. And you can take and apply to your own life. So let me see where to even begin. My energy is like, woo, on fire at the moment. You might be picking that up from the energy of this podcast, but there's just lots of things going on in the field. And I'm like, where do I begin this? Right. So let's begin with what's been going on in my life, right? Because I feel like this is a story that a lot of people can relate to, and maybe it can give you some hope, some perspective, some windows to look through in your own journey. So I arrived here, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, and it was a couple of days of being here when the reality of, oh, fuck, like I have been living this cushy life for 3, 4 months, like staying at home with my fam, not really having much, many expenses, like not having much stuff to output cash onto. And I've been taking this sweet long break from work to be focusing on my podcast, though technically this is still work, but I mean client facing work, right? So I haven't been really like promoting things or putting things out there or working with a lot of clients, right? And so I had a minor freak out when I landed back here and I was like, shit, suddenly I have expenses. I have to pay for all my own food. I have to like adult and human and shit. And there was this moment of panic of like, okay, cool, this is where we're at now. What is the next thing? What should I be focusing and pouring my energy into? And I was feeling into all of these things, these offerings. I've got rebirth, which is about to start, a few other things in my field, in my business. And there just was not any life force behind any of them, right? And I was like, okay, I have to make money. I have to start bringing in some income because now I literally I have to. It's not an option. I can't just cruise anymore. There's some things coming in that I want to have some income towards, yet there is no life force behind any of the things, that I desire to do. And there's no next thing that's dropping in, right? And this year really truly has been about, for me, tuning into the highest potential, right? Asking what will truly fulfill me. And if you go back to the first episode, you'll see this is when I kind of really started honing in on this, praying every day. What is it? How would you like me to serve? How can I serve to the highest capacity at the moment? Where is it? Show me the thing so I can funnel all my energy into it, right? Show me what it is. Show me what you desire to create, soul, right now. So it's feeling into all my, my own business, my offerings. The podcast kind of felt like right now it's time to put this on the back burner. So there was no life force there other than to keep that rolling out. My offerings, like I said, I had a rebirth. It didn't feel super like this is going to be massive. It felt like there'd be a few people, it'd be small, it would be more intimate. And there just wasn't a lot of like fire for my own business. And I was having a conversation with my housemate and we were sitting up in her room. This was a couple days after I arrived here. And she's the episode that's just been released, right? So, for context, her name's Erin. You will hear about our relationship and the work that she does. As you no, sorry, it's the next episode. This is going to be released first. So, or is it after? No, it's after. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Erin Kiner, check her out. That's my housemate who I'm talking about. And she's always been a really good reflection for me, to point out. She loves pointing out the shit. You're all going to have one friend in your life that like cuts through the bullshit and points out the thing and is like, hey, this is where you're not in integrity. This is where you've got some little self stuff. This is where, you're out of alignment, whatever it is. Here's the stuff. Look at it. She's really good at doing that. And I fucking love her. Sometimes it can get really uncomfortable and squirmy and I don't want to deal with it. But, for the most part, it's really serving me to have friends like that in my life. And she said to me, we were pulling some cards, and I was like, I just don't really know what to focus my energy on business wise. Doesn't feel really exciting for me right now. I don't really know what I'm being, asked to do. Like, I don't know how I'm going to make money. Like, what the fuck do I do? And I had a moment of kind of like panic. And as she was pulling cards, she was saying, Beck, like, why don't you open yourself up to working for someone else? And I had an ego tantrum, right? Because when I started this journey, with my own business, right? So not the spiritual journey, but when I started really, 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 like I dove full in, I moved to Bali, I let go of literally everything in my life, and I started on my entrepreneurial journey alongside my initiation process. I made a pact with God, with spirit, with my higher self, with my soul. And I said, you can put me through whatever the fuck you need to put me through, right? I'm here for it. Put me through whatever I need to go through in order to grow and evolve and become this woman who you are, guiding me to become so I can serve. But I refuse to work for anyone else ever again, right? I refuse. I will not ever. That is my one condition. So as long as you're supporting me to do this, right, I will not work for anyone ever again. And I've had a lot of stories around this that have been uncovered recently about why I had this. I have a lot of Aquarius placements, right? So my moon and my rising are Aquarius. I'm a fiercely independent individual. I'm fiercely rebellious. I do not like being told what to do. I do not like having someone who is my boss. I do not like showing up with certain hours and inflexible schedule and all of those things, right? When I started focusing on really creating my life all those years ago, this was like 8 years ago, something like that. One of the conditions for all of the things that I really desired was I work for myself. I'm flexible. I can do what I want. I am my own boss, right? It's been a really like big thing for me on this journey to be independent, to be self sustained, to not have to answer to anyone. And that is really part of my identity. I'm so individual and independent, and I don't fucking need anyone. And I want to do things on my own terms. And I've always been like that, right? So I don't know if it's a soul trait. I feel like it is a soul trait with it being so heavily in my chart, but it's also on a human level, an ego thing, right? So when I started this business, it was like this. I'm going to fucking prove to everyone in my life who told me that entrepreneurs don't make it, who told me that, when I went to say that I was going to go to Bali and I was telling my dad about it, my super skeptical Greek dad, who just wants the best for me, by the way. So he was doing it from a good place, but I told him I'm going to go do this. He was so worried for me, right? And he was like, you're not, the number of businesses that actually succeed. And he's a business owner. He built a very successful business. So there was some truth to this, right? Also a lot of conditioning and programming, but there was some truth in him saying, the chance of you actually succeeding is small, and don't risk everything. Don't blow all your savings. Don't upheave your whole life to do this, because the chances are it's going to be really fucking hard. So he was trying to set me up. So for the past 4 years, I've had in the back of my head, fuck you. I'm going to fucking prove to you and come back and show you my income slip or whatever it is, my finances, and be like, I see, I fucking did it, dad. You said I couldn't do it and I did it. You told me that entrepreneurs never make it, spiritual entrepreneurs never make it, can't make money doing healing, I can't make money being a priestess, whatever it is. You told me all this shit and here I am fucking succeeding, right? And I noticed how many aspects of my identity have been tied into being a priestess, being a channel, being this magical, whoa, my whole body is like feeling that, being special in some way because I was this priestess and I had this spiritual business. And it would give me this fucking fulfillment anytime I met someone or spoke to someone. And they'd be like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a priestess. I have my own business. I'm a channel. I'm a psychic. I do all these things, right? it made me feel really unique and different and special. And the response I always got was so like, just fed my ego, it validated me, right? And I was pulling a lot of my self-worth from this identity of this is what I do, this is who I am, this is all of me, right? And attaching to that. And the reality is, guys, it doesn't fucking matter what you do, it's who you are, it's who you're being, right? And I was realizing all of this, and I'm realizing this is truly my next level. And when she said this, a lot of this stuff was coming up, and there was this resistance about like, no, like I swore to myself I would never do this, I would never work for anyone else. And in my head I was like, that means getting some corporate job. What the fuck corporate job can I be my weird unicorn self in? And that they understand the energetic work that I do, and they understand that sometimes I need to take days off. And oh my god, I've been in chaos for 3 years in my emotions and purging and receiving upgrades. And how the fuck am I going to hold down a job? Another story. How am I going to hold down a job going through all these upgrades and the energetic stuff and being a priestess, being sensitive, being so emotional, all of the things, right? How am I going to do that? How am I going to show up 35, 40 hours a week while I'm going through my process? Because the truth is, it's been really hard for me up until pretty much this year to get anything done while being in this initiation. It has been. I haven't had a lot of energy. No, sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. I've had a lot of fucking energy moving through me constantly, like excessive amounts of energy, which is the feminine, but I haven't been able to direct that energy into anything, right? Because I've been so exhausted and tired and fried and like fucking overwhelmed. So it's been going nowhere, which means that I'm feeling even more overwhelmed and exhausted and sensitive. And it's just like I'm explosive all the time, and I can't funnel that into everything. I'm going to come back to this because this is such a fucking important piece for me that I've been nailing and working through since like starting this position and even leading into this to get me this position, which is the feminine masculine balance within me, and those parts coming together to create a new energy. I'm going to come back to this. Anyway, so this stuff was coming up as she was talking to me. She's like, I can see that you're resistant, right? And I wasn't as resistant as I've been in the past. Like I was so resistant with her with various other things in the past that would come up, and I would just shut them down. I'd be like, no, I refuse to see. But in that moment, I was like, okay, cool. Is there something for me to look at here? Where is me getting a job, me being hell bent on not getting a job, potentially blocking me from the highest outcome, the highest service, the highest soul potential? Oh, I feel it in my body, right? Where is that blocking me right now? Where is that blocking me? This resistance, right? Because whenever we have resistance or a block around something and we're clinging to something, an identity, an idea, it means that we are not purely, we are not a pure channel for energy to move through because there's some inner shit. So I was like, okay, clearly I'm having a reaction to this, which means that there's some charge, which means there's some resistance, which means that I'm on some level creating an identity based on my business and my success as an entrepreneur, right? And full disclosure, like I have been surviving with my business for the past 3 years. Like I have the first year, the income was pretty low. The second year, it doubled. Last year, I did pretty good for myself. Like I was surviving, right? I was by no means like abundant and thriving. I had a couple of super high income months, so like 10K, 20K. But then there would be long periods of time where there was nothing coming in, right? So it was like I do really well, but then I would just cruise and I'd be in a process and going through stuff and whatever it was. And that's the way that it's been for my business. Inconsistent, right? No consistency, but it has been magical and it has supported me. So I was clinging to that of being like, but it has fucking worked. So why isn't it working now? Or it has worked, so it has to work. Or it has worked, so therefore my income and the money needs to come through my business. And I was very attached to the outcome of this is the only fucking way for me to move forward. It has to come through my business, has to come through clients. And if it's not this, then there's nothing, right? And it was very limiting. So I took off the blinders, and I'm getting really fucking good at this. And I want to say, proud self moment. The amount of time it took me to alchemize this and move through this was like an hour and a half, right? In the past, this would take me like 4 weeks, a fucking process, seeing healers, like getting to the bottom of it. And this was like, right, there is resistance here. Show me what it is. Show me why, like I need to move through this and what the highest potential is for me. And as we started to feel into, I was like, okay, so say I did open myself up for a job. What could that make available to me? And I was like, oh, what if it was a job where I could do something that didn't feel like work for me? And it was so easy and it was flexible and I could work remote. And what if it was bringing in more income than my fucking business did? And what if it was someone who was like me? She was a priestess, a healer, a business which was doing stuff which really resonates with me and lights me up. where I can create for them or do something or sprinkle my magic, my gifts into their business. And being part of this meant that I was able to serve more people, right? The reality is, guys, I don't have a huge following currently. It's growing, and I'm so amazed to see how it's been growing, particularly since I released the podcast. And so, all of you who are here and you're new into my vortex, I love you. Welcome. Thank you. I'm so excited to have you here. But full disclosure is, I channel in these messages and this content and these things, this energetic, these upgrades, these activations, whatever it is, but they're not reaching the people that they need to reach, right? And I've had visions, and I've talked about this on here. Many people have had these visions for me of me doing these mass activations and reaching a lot of people. I know that this is my destiny. I know I'm here to reach a lot of fucking people, right? But right now I'm not. And just because I'm not doing that through my own container, through my own business, doesn't mean that it's not available to me right now, right? So I was feeling into, what if I could enter a container that someone else has created, right? A structure someone else has created, which already has a massive following, which already has this capacity to reach a bunch of people. And I could get in there and sprinkle my magic and serve in that way. And I was like, fuck, the more I was tuning into it, the more I was like, this could really be me serving at the next highest level. This could really be me serving at the next highest level if I was able to reach all of these people, right? Then I had to go into releasing the story around, oh, but it doesn't have my name on it. It's not going to be taken back to me. And they won't know that they were my words or my content or my copywriting or my videos or whatever the fuck it was. Like, it can't be traced back to me. And therefore, it's not my legacy, right? It's not me putting it out there in the world. And I realized, like, Beck, as a channel, as a pure fucking vessel, it's not about you. It's not about having the little at Beck My Lonus in the corner. It's not about me getting the likes or the shares or the follows or the fame or the glory. Oh, feel the energy of this, guys. This is huge, right? Strip that back, let go of it. You're here to serve, right? And it's not about you. And one day, maybe you will get those, that recognition or that praise or whatever it is. But if you're here to be a pure channel, sometimes you've got to be in the background, right? You've got to be behind someone else's structure or system or whatever it is, quietly working away. And I think about all the people on this path. And I'm going to mention Jesus again. It's actually Easter, so it's a really appropriate time to mention Jesus. He was a fucking carpenter, guys. That's how he supported himself, right? He was a carpenter. That's how he made money. And it's like, we think that our success and what we do and who we're, what we do for work or whatever that is, our business, is who we are and how we're serving in the world. And it's just one small part. Like, that is just here to support you. And if you can do something that fucking feels good and joyful and lights you up, amazing, great, cool. But it's not who you are, right? It doesn't define you, it doesn't define your worth. Me telling people I'm a priestess, or me telling people I'm a channel, or me being recognized as any of those things doesn't take away or add to the fact that I already am those fucking things. And it doesn't even matter what I'm doing. It's how I'm serving, right? And how I'm serving with my energy just by being here. I saw this example again last night. I caught up with a friend who I hadn't seen in like 4 years since I left Melbourne. And he was in a really shit place. And that morning I've been praying. I was like, yesterday morning, I was like, God, like, show me that I'm still serving. I just want to know that I'm still serving and helping people. And, because I kind of stepped away from my own stuff, and I've really been funneling into this business, which I'm going to come back to. I'm kind of all over the place right now, right? And I was like, I just really want to know that I've been serving. And I had a random message from someone who like listened to my podcast, and they were like, thank you, never heard of them before. And I was like, cool, great. And then I had this friend reach out to me, and he was like, I'm in Bali. Are you in Bali? And I was like, cool. And he's like, I don't know fucking why. Your name just dropped into my head, and I felt to reach out to you. And so we caught up, and he was in a really bad place. And by the end of the time of us hanging out, he was literally a different fucking person. He was radiating, he was glowing, he was excited, he was lit up. He was like, fuck, I'm excited to go home and like, head to this new career because of some guidance I gave him or just being around me. And he kept saying to me, like, you need to understand, just by being with you today, it's shifted my whole life. And it was this realization again for me of like, it's not what you're doing, it's who you're being that fucking matters. And it's you serving in whatever way is coming through for you to serve in that moment. And it's not sometimes going to look like what you think it is. So for me, when it came up, I was exploring the avenue of what could this job look like? I wrote down a bunch of things. And I was like, cool, if this is my next level, God, if this is what you desire for me, if this is how I'm going to serve to my next degree, I'm open. Like, show me the way. It's cool. Like, I've released my resistance. And it started feeling good. And I was like, oh, this could be really exciting. Imagine the collaborations or the doors it could open, or maybe, somehow this business that I'm going to work for is going to bring me an opportunity for my business, and or I'm going to learn some shit that's going to be translating to my business or whatever. And I was like, fuck, this is really exciting. How exciting would it be to have a stable income for the first time since I was like fucking 20, right? 10 years of instability. Oh, and how good would it feel to just be like, I know that there's money coming in and I'm supported and I don't have to worry about the financial shit going on. And I don't have to like have neediness when I'm releasing offers, being like, this has to work because if they don't buy my shit, I can't pay my rent. Like, then I can serve from this place of like desire and fun and joy and pleasure and where is the life force rather than I have to do this, right? The next morning, guys, is like you cannot make this shit up. I'm gonna start crying because it's just so beautiful. Like literally, you can't make up how perfect this stuff is. The next morning, I open my Instagram and I see that Rewilding for Women, who, by the way, they were the first ever soul journey I did. I've talked about this story on here about how I was like, if I'm this fucking priestess that everyone keeps saying that I am, this healer, show me. And then I discovered this Kali Ma workshop with them, did that workshop, and it opened up fucking everything for me, right? That's when it all started, the deep soul work, not the spiritual journey, but the deep, the Shakti, like awakening, the Kundalini rising, all of that stuff started with a rewilding workshop, right? So this is so fucking perfect and full circle. And another thing you might not know about me is that I've actually been doing content creation over the past couple of years for other people, channeling copy. I do an offering, which is an incubator where I bring someone in and I channel all their copy for them. I do the grid work for their business. I create all their branding. There's various different ways that I've been doing this website design, branding, which I love. And I get a lot of joy out of it. And it's fucking easy for me to make websites and landing pages and funnels. And it's fun. It's easy. It's like this random skill that I just have. And I look at all the random forays in my life, right, to lead me to this moment. And it's crazy. Like I worked in film and television. I studied media and communications. I worked in studios where I was using a lot of this stuff, graphic design, filmmaking stuff, website design, that I thought, what a waste of time. When I started this path, I was like, how is this serving me? It's such a waste of time. And now I see it really serves me because it's literally what I've been doing. So long story short, that's been supplementing me. At the start of my journey, I took over my friend Dana, who was a previous episode on here, her content creation business, which I talked about. That had me working with like some super high level entrepreneurs, spiritual entrepreneurs. So I got that experience. So all these things were like preparing me in the background to this point, right? Been doing it for clients one to one, all sorts of that stuff, right? Saw that she was offering, they were calling out for a content creator, right? And what they desired was someone who understands their brand, who is really resonant with the work, who does the work, who's in that mystery school environment, who's really like well versed on the feminine, who all of these things, right? Who could take their podcast or their one thing that they create and then make a bunch of really cool shit. That's what they were looking for. Take this little thing and make a bunch of cool shit, right? So I listened to this podcast that Sabrina had released where she's sharing what the role is and this content creator and what they wanted, and what they were looking for. And I was like, fuck, I think that might be me. But I was still like a little bit in my ego. And I was like, not really sure, God, if this is really for me, I'm going to like sit down to do this application because the application was like put together a bunch of posts and send it to us and it'll show us that you're the one for us, right? It's like, if this is like really aligned and meant to be, then channel this through in the most easy, like amazing way possible. I sat down to channel the content and I was on fire listening to this podcast, right? I had made like 3 documents worth of ideas for content. I went on this like 48-hour bender of just creating content for them. I did their whole branding. I redid their whole branding. I did a fucking content schedule, did all their copywriting, like did it all. And it was so joyful and fun, right? I had so much fun that I was like, I don't even fucking care if they hire me or not, because I just genuinely, that was really good to get me in a creative mode and gave me ideas for my business. And sweet, I have this capacity to create in this way. Of course, it was meant to be. That's why I'm here talking about it. Within 3 days, they'd reached out to me and they were like, holy shit, this is amazing. Within 5 days, I had my first interview. Within a week of us kind of like going back and forth, or them putting out the role, they'd hired me on the spot, right? And it was just so fucking clear from the minute I got on the call with them, the resonance, the soul fucking connection, the perfection of like, I could see not only what being in their space was going to do for me in my expansion, my next level, and for my business, but also my energy in their space, how it was going to expand their business, and how both of us have been really there, as in rewilding, like as an entity, and myself have really been tuning into serving the highest good of all, everyone forever, not just our businesses, right? God, show us how to serve higher to everyone, right? Show us what is the highest for all of mankind, humankind, not mankind, humankind, right? Right now, not just about our little thing. It's not about us, right? So we've both gone on this journey of it's not fucking about us. How can we reach more people? How can we impact more people? And even the themes and concepts that she has been talking about in the couple of episodes leading up to me being hired, and where her work is going, has been this journey that I've been going through for the past couple of months of really balancing my feminine and masculine, getting more into the masculine energy. Even something like I have been really called to dragon energy in the past. You would have heard me. You can't make this shit up. Literally talking about this a few weeks before coming into the job, how I've received all of these initiations from dragon energy, remembering my past lifetime as a dragon, wild stuff. She starts talking about dragon energy on the call. She starts talking about masculine. She starts talking about having this direction for all the energy. And I'm like, this is fucking crazy. This is wild. Like, I cannot believe that this is showing up in my reality. And what they were offering was like complete flexibility, work from wherever, like really autonomous, like flexible, coming in as a contractor on a full-time salary, which by the way is more than what I was making in my business. So it was like, whoa, fuck, like it really gets to be this good. And I started, and it's been weeks, right, now that I've been in this role, and it's just been fucking incredible. And I've seen that like it's not just a job for me. Like it's not just going into this corporate environment and ticking boxes. I'm having initiations through doing this work. I'm having the initiation I want to speak into directly, because it's crazy how it's been showing up, is what's been coming up for my feminine as I step more into my masculine. I begin to merge and fuse those two energies. So actually the first ever project that I had working for them was an episode called Feminine Power versus Masculine Power. What do you need more of? And as I'm cutting this up, it's a great episode. You should go listen to it. I mean, I talk about all this stuff too, but she really expresses it beautifully. As I was listening to it, I was like, fuck, this is literally what I've been going through the past 2 weeks, like leading up to this, of realizing all of that feminine energy that I've had, that life force, that Shakti, has not been channeled and funneled into something. I haven't had structure for myself, discipline, and a high vision and a purpose and discernment of being able to be like, this is the thing to focus your energy on, right? I haven't had that in my life. So I've been in this chaos, this emotional storm, this turbulence in this initiation process, which I had to be in, guys. It was really necessary for me to be there to deal with all these karmic things that I was clearing up and various other things. It's not that I had to be there. I can see that I had to be there to come here, right? But my masculine was not on board, and my masculine wasn't directing that energy towards things. And so I wasn't working. I was working like 2 hours a day, if that, for 3 years. I wasn't putting focus, really devoted, dedicated focus into my business and being like, why aren't I getting results? I wasn't channeling and pushing that life force towards something. I hadn't mastered my energy yet. I hadn't mastered my level of commitment to myself. So you can see all the little pieces, right? If you listen to the previous episodes, all the little pieces that have been coming in over the masculine, over my own discipline, over my commitment that have been tested, have literally been preparing me for this moment. And so I'm listening to this episode and I was like, fuck, this is so perfect. So perfect. And in this episode, she's talking about how if you've been doing the feminine work for a while, when you start to put those masculine things in place, your feminine is going to have a tantrum. Guys, it literally fucking happened to me the next day. Like I saw myself, because I'd been like really working hard. I was putting in like 7, 8 hours a day for like 4 days straight, because I was like, new job, like first week of new job. I really need to like get shit done. And I wasn't checking in with myself. I was kind of self-abandoning in a way. And my feminine got really fucking pissed off with me. And there was this like, tension brewing up in me. And I had this breakdown on like the fourth night. And she was like, you are just fucking completely ignoring me. You're not asking me how I feel. You're trying to force me to do shit. Like, I'm not happy. She just was real pissed. She was like, no, I'm not fucking doing it. Like, fuck you. Fuck the masculine. Right. It was like really like she was not happy. And I had to sit with her, and had to sit with as well as the parts of myself that were like in resistance and like fighting, right? My ego that was like, I don't want this new level. It's scary for me to be fully in my power. So I'm going to fight against this, right? And create this drama. So you were distracted by the drama and you don't start fucking directing your energy towards other things. And I watched it and I practiced this non-judgmental masculine witnessing and holding of like, she talks about in this video, which I want to share here too. Sometimes it serves to be in that chaos and it serves to be in that clearing and that healing. I spoke about this actually in the previous episode too, about the transmuting through bliss and joy. And sometimes it's time to refocus that energy. So you can literally, like, if you listen to her podcast and you listen to my podcast, they're the same. We're saying the same shit. Like, we are fucking tuned into the same thing right now. It's crazy. It's wild. Anyway, so I could see in that moment when she was having this tantrum internally that it didn't serve me to stay there anymore, right? And I was like, I love you, baby girl. I love you, little chaotic feminine, beautiful, stormy, powerful feminine. I love you. But actually, it's really time for us to start to have some structure and some commitment and some discipline. Discipline is a really big one right now. Discipline and purpose and focus in our life. I'm going to sit with you in this for tonight. I give you tonight to process this, and I'm going to hold you lovingly and non-judgmentally. And I was literally laughing at myself as I'm crying hysterically, all the things all at once, being like, oh, I see what you're doing. I see it, and it's okay. And we're safe and we're good. And also, we're going this way now, right? So I moved through that, which was great. 2 days later, 2 days later, I have a call with one of my teammates, Karen, and we were talking about the previous content creator and how she was great, but she was really, really focused on feminine and she was really resistant to masculine energy. And as guys, you cannot make this shit up. As we're talking about this, I loudly exclaimed, I'm fucking loving having my masculine on board right now. It feels so fucking good. I said something to like, I exclaimed it. I was like, I fucking love my masculine. And at that moment, literally as I said it, my computer just goes and goes black and explodes. And that was it. It was dead. And I was just sitting there like, did that fucking just happen? Did that literally just happen? Did that literally just, I cannot believe that just fucking happened. You cannot even make that shit up. I wasn't even mad about the fact that this is the first week into my new job. My computer explodes. I now have no computer to work with. What the fuck? Like, oh my God. What just happened? Right? It was a moment of like, that is so clear to me of what has just unfolded and what has been unfolding since I've stepped into this position and leading me into this. That I can't even make that shit up, right? And it also to me was like the power of my energy as I'm merging my feminine and my masculine. And it's not even like sometimes in my feminine, sometimes in my masculine. It's like I'm both simultaneously, right? I'm both of them simultaneously. I am that feminine force and I am that masculine drive at the same fucking time. And all of my technology lately has been fried because of it. Anytime I touch anything, it breaks. My phone broke, my computer broke, right? Lots of things are getting real fucking weird around me because of the level of voltage and drive and focus. Like my expansion of my field is so big with those energies working together that shit is breaking down around me. So it was hilarious. We all had a good laugh about it. I reflected on it. And instead of having a tantrum like I normally would and being like, God, like, fuck, oh my God, like my whole life is fucking ruined. Like, why is this happening to me? I was like, cool, I get it. Show me what the thing is and show me the highest, the highest resolution to this, and let's just fucking sort this out. I'm open to the highest timeline, the highest resolution. Because in my mind, I was like, fuck, now I have to go back to Australia. I have to fly to Australia to buy a computer because they're super expensive here. And then that's going to be like so expensive. And then I'm going to have to fly back. And maybe I should just leave Bali now and like not have to fucking come back and all these things. And I was like, nah. We're going to just tune into the highest, easiest fucking potential. Turns out there was a guy who could fix my computer for $200. So it's here. It's not broken. I have all my music that I thought I lost and all my podcasts and everything. It was really easy. And within a day, it was sorted and working again. And it created no disruption to my life, right? That's how quickly you can move through things if you just align with the highest time. Excuse me, how rude. You align with the highest timeline and you ask to be shown and you're willing to see. So crazy shit has been happening in my life, right? And there's other pieces actually I want to share. A couple of weeks ago, like when I landed here, I had some really big messages dropping in of like, right, when you're done in Bali in a month, you need to go home for a couple months and then you're being called to go to Mexico. You have to go to Mexico. It's really big. It's really important. There's love there for you, which is really exciting. Maybe there's a man. Who fucking knows? I don't really care. Let's see. No attachment. You have to go to Mexico and work with the grids there. It was really important to me. There's huge things for you in Mexico. You need to go. And I was like, well, that's great, Spirit. But right now I have no fucking income. So how is that going to happen? Right. So this job, she's in California. right? She's in the fucking States. We're all going to probably meet at some point. This job has now enabled me because I have income coming in consistently. That's a thing. I'm going to Mexico. It's happening. It's fucking done. Like, I just need to book my flights, which is really exciting. So it's like so much more than just this little position and how it's rippling out. And I'm even seeing, how it's up leveling me. And even, on the one of the things that was really important to me on the call when we had our call was I had to say, like, one of the things that came up was she was like, do you want full-time work? Do you want part-time work? And I, at the start of the call, was like, I just want part-time work because I have my own business, and like full-time doesn't feel good for me. It feels really like constricting and like heavy and oh my God, I can't work full-time. And it was a story. And by the end of the call, we'd talk through it. And I was like, actually, no, wait, I full-time work feels really fucking good for me. That's some bullshit. I'm calling myself out. It feels really good for me to open myself up and fully like just throw everything at this and put my shit to the side for a minute. And there was this understanding between both of us, and because she's super psychic, she felt it too, of like, you're not here with us forever. It's going to be 6 months, a year, 2 years, and we know that when it's time for you to be in highest soul resonance and move on to focus on your speaking or whatever it is, we're going to push you out. It's time. And that felt really good to me too, of like, this is temporary. I'm there to learn some stuff, to grow, to evolve. There's going to be fucking so many initiations like there already has been. I'm going to be expanded by her business, her energy, her portal. That is going to be expanded by my business, by not my business, my energy, my gifts, right? So it's like this beautiful synergy. And then when it's time, I'm going to step away and come back to my business and do my own thing. So it's not that I don't get to have my business being successful. It's not that I don't get to focus on my vision. It's that right now, the highest priority for me, the highest alignment for me is to focus on this. And Spirit's like, this is where you need to go. This is what you need to focus on. And it's almost like as soon as I got that piece into place, so many other pieces are falling into place. And I can feel the version of myself I'm becoming. And I feel and tune into that woman in Mexico in 6 months. And she is so fucking clear. She's so fucking strong and focused and like at peace and neutral, and she's so sure in herself, and her masculine and her feminine is so fucking merged that she doesn't even need another person in her life. And I'm kind of there right now, guys. I don't give a shit about dating. I'm not interested in whatever. I'm like calling in, maybe it'd be nice to have like a little romance here because I'm leaving and it'll be just like fun and I just have no attachment to it. So that'd be nice. But otherwise, I just don't like, this is one of the first times in my life where I just feel so like, whether this man comes in or not, I don't care, right? Like whether or not the person that I'm going to meet in Mexico is my person that I'm going to be with, I don't care. Like I feel so fucking good because I have all of that within me that I was seeking from them. And so this next level really feels for me is like pure sovereignty. It's wholeness, it's inner union, it's sacred union, it's mystical union. And it's me fully in my purpose, direct, fucking focused, penetrating, like getting the shit done with all of this powerful life force that I've been building and building and building over years and has nowhere to go, directing that fucking intentionally into my vision, into her vision, into the bigger vision, into what I want to create. And I'm seeing this version of me who wakes up at 6 in the morning. I've been waking up at 6 in the morning, guys. That's fucking unheard of for me in the past few years. Granted, because I've been having to get on calls with them at 7:30 in the morning because they're in the States, but it's been fucking amazing for me. I've been disciplined. I've been getting up. I've had all of this energy, right? All the day. I think like, oh my God, it's 5 p.m. and I should stop doing stuff because I'm going to be burnt out. And then it's like, fuck, I'm still here. Now I've got energy to work on my business. Now I'm playing guitar and it's 7 p.m. and I've made dinner and I've cooked and I've cleaned and I've fucking done 6 hours of work on my business, on her business. This is wild. I've done an ice plunge. How the fuck is there so much life force? How do I have so much energy? How do I have so much motivation still at the end of the day? And I see the person I'm becoming, who is the woman who can hold the empire that I'm here to build. And sometimes we need to take these random side steps or do these things that our ego is like, no, it's a fucking step back to become that person, right? And it was really funny when my housemate was tuning into all this stuff right at the start. Let's take us back to the start of the episode. And she was like, fuck, like this position that's coming in, it feels like that it's there, like it's waiting for you. And it was. They've been calling me in for fucking months and I wasn't ready because I was selling my ego, right? They've been trying to call someone in for a while before they asked, like they put it out there. Um, and she was like, and I feel it that this new level for you. And she was like, wow, holy fuck, like this is so powerful, Beck. This new level that you're going to reach of this stability and this like you're not shake, like no one can shake you, right? You're so solid and you're so clear, and you don't give a shit about, how your life looks like on the outside. You give a shit about likes or followers or validation and all of this stuff. And I'm seeing that's already unfolding. Like how I'm reacting to things is different, how I'm showing up, my discipline, how my day looks, like all of these things. And I see that I'm becoming the woman. I am becoming the woman in that sovereign relationship. I'm becoming the woman who is on this fucking wild pilgrimage in Mexico while still working full time and having my own business. I'm seeing a woman standing on stages with all of this life force to share, activating the fuck out of all of these people, right? With all of these amazing things on the go, so excited, so full of life force, so full of juice, and directing that towards my purpose, right? So fucking tapped into my vision and my purpose. Because really, if I think about it, I was not that woman who was at that level for the relationship that I was calling in. I wasn't, because I wasn't a high value woman in many ways. Because when someone would come along, it was like I would drop all the things in my life because there wasn't really a whole lot going on, right? Like because I had all this free time with all this purging and clearing, like that's all I was doing. I didn't have something I was focusing on and like really directing my life force towards other than the spiritual stuff. I didn't really have an exciting life, right? So when someone came in, it was like, fuck, like now you're making my life exciting and I want to be here now. So I'm going to pour all my love and energy into you. And now it's like, literally, if someone was to walk into my life, you have to like line up and fucking book a meeting to hang out with me because I'm so fucking focused on what I'm here to create. And I have things that I got to do and I desire to do them. And that's where my focus is. And you are an addition to my life and not my whole life, right? So I can see that I wasn't really at the level to call in this sovereign union that I've been calling in. And I also see how maybe I was still needing validation or to be desired or whatever, my worth to be bolstered by someone else. So many fucking crazy wild things have been happening. I feel like I've just gone on a love rant for like a while. It's been some time before since I've been behind a microphone. So I've missed it. It's been lovely chatting with you all and sharing with you, what's been going on in my life, because you fucking can't make this shit up. We're about to enter eclipse season as well. So it's going to be huge soul expansion, higher self expansion. I can see that there's going to be several initiations for me. You know, to get me to this level, to the next level. And I'm excited and it's cool and it's all unfolding. And it's been really cool for me to see how I'm still honestly going through some really wild energetic initiations. I'm still being told to like be in my bed all day, create a temple of light and receive downloads. I'm still being told to do all of that stuff. And they're still happening. Like I'm still having wild experiences, but I'm able to be like, I'm going to prioritize and I'm going to put this to the back burner for a second and come back to that. And I have to fucking human and have some structure in my life and not just be this chaotic priestess mess all the time. So, and also that's not my identity, right? So I don't need to do all that stuff all the time to feel like I'm fucking doing something. Now I am ranting, so I'm going to leave it there. Definitely go check out Rewilding. I am creating all of their content, right? So if you see any of their posts, it is me, with obviously not the ones that are her face talking. I've cut them, but they're not me. And I'm really enjoying the content that we're creating there. It's super resonant to my own content. So go check that out. Follow us, follow me, follow Sabrina, follow the team. It's beautiful energy, and I really love where they're going, which is away from the just the feminine work into more divine masculine, more union, more mystical union, more dragon energy. There is a dragon workshop which they're doing soon, which I would recommend. That was amazing. And now I'm cross promoting on my own fucking podcast. So there you go. There you go, guys. So I love you all. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to my life update, love rant for a little while. If this resonates with you, do let me know. If you've moved through something similar, do let me know. As always, these are always invitations for you to look at where is this reflecting something in my own life. And I'm going to shut up now and go enjoy my day because it's Sunday. I'm going to go have a nice bath and be in the sun. So much love, everyone. Mwah. Until next time, beautiful souls. Thank you for listening to another episode of Cracked Open. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend if this episode has served you in any way. For more information about the work that I do or to get in touch with me, read the show notes or head to beckmylonis.com. Until next time, beautiful soul.